Welcome back to the broadcast. We're back with Damian Nordman from the School of Metaphysics here in Dallas. We're talking about dream interpretation. And before the break, I said, if you've ever had the dream that your teeth have fallen out, and it's a common one. A lot of people have this one. Some people in our studio audience have had this one too. And it means something very specific.
Yeah, it does. It's actually probably the most common dream symbol that I've come across, where it really has to do with difficulty assimilating knowledge or information. If you think about food in a dream represents knowledge, and your teeth are your first line of that assimilation process. So oftentimes people will have that dream when they are overloaded with information, which our society is just a glut of information these days. And what do people do with that? Well, they don't know what to do with it. They don't know what to do even with our schooling. We often are sitting there in class going, what am I going to do with this calculus? And when I, after, because I'm not going to be an engineer, or even my dad was an engineer. He never had to use calculus the whole, 60 years he was an engineer.
That's fascinating.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's about assimilating. There's too much. It's information overload.
Yeah, and the need to learn how to be more choosy about the information you take in, so that it has meaning to you. It has depth.
Will stay in.
Yeah.
Okay. Colleen, our producer, had one that's kind of a reoccurring dream. She dreams about horses a lot. And she says she can see them running, and sometimes she'll see like a horse that's starving.
A horse in need.
Yeah.
Well, horses, of course, animals of any type represent some kind of habitual way of thinking. However, there are a few animals that have very specific meanings. One of them is a horse, and horse has to do with will or your willpower. So it's essentially your ability to make choices. Because if you think about a horse, we've developed now horses where we can ride them, we can use them for work, we can use them for hook them up to things. So it represents our ability to use will and make choices. So if a horse in a dream is starving or having trouble, then there's a need to feed that part of her will, to exercise it, in other words, which many people have dreams showing that the need to develop the willpower, because, again, it's something we're not really taught in our schooling or by our parents, or even our religions don't usually teach us these mechanics of the mind. And that's really behind dream interpretation, really is knowing yourself well enough to know how to make improvements, and that's the whole benefit of it anyway.
And one of the things that you teach at the School of Metaphysics is you not only teach people how to interpret dreams, but also have you ever had that dream and you have to wake up maybe to take a bathroom break or something, and you want to go back to sleep, and you want to resume the dream because it's so good?
Right, because Channing Tatum.
Because it's a Channing Tatum dream. Exactly.
Right.
I wasn't done with you. I just had a pee.
But you will actually teach people at the School of Metaphysics how to sort of press pause and then resume the dream when they go back to sleep.
Absolutely. The mind is very powerful, and the subconscious mind is just a wealth. It's a schoolroom, it's a playground of all kinds of great experiences. So to be able to tap into that, you have to have certain keys. And yes, we teach concentration, we teach people how to meditate, how to use visualization, and all of those essentially open the door to the subconscious mind so you can walk in and out of it with more control, more awareness. You can lucid dream, and as you're doing that, you can have more, of course, control and awareness in your waking life, which makes it more fulfilling and makes everything just so much better.
Are we making big advances in dream study? Are we getting better?
Absolutely. We go to a conference. People from the School of Metaphysics often go to the International Association for the Study of Dreams, or the IASD conference, and there are people there from all over the world doing everything from very scientific research to how dreams are affecting the world of art, and people are using it in creative endeavors, to just everything. I mean, it's just amazing what people are doing with dreams these days.
That's only one part of what you guys do at the School of Metaphysics.
Absolutely.
So we've just got about a minute left, so share some of the other things you do. Are you doing paranormal investigating
Well,
kind of stuff,
you could kind of say that, but really we're much more on the practical end of everything with metaphysics. In fact, we're so different from what other places might think of as metaphysics, because our real focus starts out with concentration. Where's your attention? Because you are where your attention is. That's an absolute universal truth that I've found so useful. In fact, we're having classes starting in both our Dallas and Fort Worth schools next week, where people can come and learn to harness the power of their mind. And it all starts with simple daily disciplines, practices every day, for just sometimes even 10 minutes a day, where you can lengthen your attention span. And from that, when you do it for a few weeks, a few months, or a year, you can focus. You can know where your attention is, where your thoughts are, and then you have the power to do anything you want to do, absolutely anything.
Are you also teaching people how to harness and understand their intuition?
that's what you got to do first. Master some concentration, and intuition becomes actually a pretty easy thing to get to know.
Well, we're glad you're not walking around with tinfoil and antenna on your head.
That would be
No, this is
kinda
real
creepy.
science, and
I'm
Damien and I
fascinated, yeah.
go way back. When I first moved to Dallas, you were actually the first story that I did for CBS 11 was about
I didn't
the
know
school of
that.
metaphysics.
Wow.
Yeah. So the work you're doing there is just fantastic.
Yeah, that was a great story too. It was
very,
fun.
very
A lot of fun.
interesting. Okay,
Thanks, Damien.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
very
Thank you
much.
all.
You can get more details about the School of Metaphysics online at our website, dthebroadcast.tv. Just click on today's links.
Oh, and now all that we know all about how to lose the weight to look great, about our skin and all those kinds of things related. We're going to come back with some really great advice on how to keep your skin looking healthy as well as your mind, because we've been practicing our mind
Right.
for a little bit.
Good idea.
Stay right with us on the broadcast.
Full service.